if I have any advice to anybody, it's to know that like this is not a half-ass business. Like half measures, kind of dipping a toe in it, in my experience, really isn't good enough. Like if you're gonna do it, be the very best writer you possibly can. To me, that means like take classes, even if you've been to grad school, like constantly be learning, meeting other people. Like there's an amazing community of people if you're willing to immerse yourself in it and kind of be humble enough to say like, I need it and I don't know everything and, you know, help me. But yeah, I mean, and all of that just goes to being the best writer you possibly can. Like I think every writer anyway has had that feeling when you're about to click send on a draft, whether it's to like a manager or a producer or somebody, and you're like, oh God, is it good enough? Like, because once you click send, you can't take it back, you know? So I think it's all just about building that skill set to get to that point where you're ready to put it out into the world and having every confidence that yes, like I did my homework, I've learned everything I could, I've executed this as well as I can. My community has said that as well, you know.
Why do you want to do this? Like really, truly, honestly, take a moment to really focus, to just identify the reason why you want to do this. Because this is not easy. This is a lot of work, sometimes with almost no reward. And we see the fame, the glory, the fantasy that Hollywood creates. And if that's the reason why you want to do it, you already probably, that's not the right reason. I don't think that's the right reason. It's a lot to go through for that tiny moment of glory that you're chasing. You have to find the process and the career very rewarding. So one, ask yourself why you want to do this. And once you make that commitment to do this, be ready to be in it for life. It's a life commitment for me. I made it a long time ago. So when I was in college, I remember, I'm going to be a writer. This is my life commitment. So for me, not breaking into 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, it didn't seem like a big deal. Of course, everyone wants to break in overnight, but like it didn't seem like a big deal because for me, it was going to be a life commitment. So number two, once you identify why you want to do it and you commit, number two, just work really hard. You get better every time you write a new script. I really think so. No writing is ever wasted. Even the worst script ever, or the stuff that you thought was, not up to par. It's so important because it all adds up. And so continue working on your craft and continue working on finding opportunities for yourself to be able to share that craft with people. And I think just, identify why you want to do, why you want to go into writing, and two, do the work.
Just get in that chair and start doing it. And even if you're only going to be able to do it for 15 minutes that day, just try to do it. Just try to keep your mind in it, because even if you just sit down and write, half a scene that day, you go off and do your other things, your mind is working on it. The other thing is, don't stress out about story problems. You think you're going to have to trash your whole screenplay, but I swear to God, in every screenplay, there's a moment I feel like that, and then, I will be pulling out my hair, and then at some point, boom, I'll wake up, or I'll go on a run, or something magical will happen. It hits me, problem solved, done. The other thing is just the big overarching piece of advice that everybody gives, but I really, really mean this, because, I could have given up so many times. My husband is a lawyer. He works. I could have been a stay-at-home mom. I could be working in law again. I could do a lot of things, but this is what I wanted to do. And I decided I am going to do it. And I decided I am not going to give up. And I think that's what the difference is between me and someone who didn't make it. It's just that I kept going and they gave up. And I really think that is, as cliche as it sounds at this point, that is my biggest piece of advice.
It is a very demanding job and it is a very challenging job, and even being on a staff, it only gets more challenging. So I think just go into this with eyes wide open. If you want a career in this business, it's not PlayStation and movie watching. It's not that. And treat it like that. So I think it's sort of, you fake it till you make it. If you treat writing as a job, eventually it can become that. And the other thing also is that just because you're represented and you have agents and managers working for you doesn't mean that the work always gets done. And this is no offense to agents or managers. This is just the reality. You, in a sense, are the CEO of your own company, and they work with you and partially for you and partially on your behalf, but you still gotta steer the ship.
I think the best advice I could give is to just be patient. You know, I think that a lot of people come out here with this notion that they're handing out directing jobs on the corner and they're handing out writing jobs on the corner, and I think that there's a little naivete that, you know, the thing that you have to say is the most important thing and everyone should listen, and that may be the case, but it takes a little while to get people to listen. I mean, I was in LA for 4 years before I was working as a paying my bills as a cinematographer. I mean, I was really, it took 4 years for me to like get into a job that was actually affording me the ability to, you know, pay for my life. You know, I know a lot of people who moved out to LA, you know, wanting to direct, and they showed up, and when it didn't work out in the first, you know, 6 months, a year, they left. And I think the struggle of breaking in should inform your work. And I think if you don't stick it out, you're missing the opportunity to grow and to become better. And the ideas that you do want to express and the things you do have to say only become stronger because you're out here trying to make it work. And it's not a straight line. I mean, there's no ladder to climb in this business, right? It can happen overnight. It can happen in 8 years. It can also never happen. But you have to build into that timeline, whatever it is, a real opportunity to fall in love with what you do, because even when you have the success, it only exists for like a very small amount of time, and then you have to decide what the next thing is going to be. Once you've kind of, I mean, I never thought in a million years I'd direct a studio movie, and I got there, and it was a wonderful experience. But at the end of it, it was like, oh, okay, we did that. Now what? And if you don't love the process, that now what is horrifying. And if you do love the process, that now what is full of potential and full of excitement. So I think that just being patient and learning in the patience to love what it is you want to do is the most valuable advice that I could give.